In this video, we're going to discuss the top 5 reasons to raise your family here in the Dallas, Texas area. Whether you have kids or you're planning on having kids, what is the big draw for Dallas, and is Dallas going to be the right place for you? And we're going to get after that right now. What's up, everyone? I'm Kristen Carpentier, a licensed realtor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And if this is your first time to our channel and you want to know everything there is to know about what it's like living here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, don't forget to click that subscribe button down below and hit that bell for notifications, because we are dropping new content every single week about what it's like living here, and we absolutely love helping people make Dallas their home. So whether you're moving next week, next month, or even next year, don't hesitate to reach out, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or better yet, let's hop on a Zoom call so that way we can help get to know you better and find out what we can do to help you make that smooth move here to the Dallas, Texas area. All right, so is Dallas the right place to raise a family? Is raising a family here going to be the best option for you? Well, I am a mom of 4, and when my family and I moved here to the Dallas, Texas area just over 10 years ago, our youngest was just starting kindergarten. And in the meantime, we have now moved a couple of different times. So our kids did actually go to 2 different elementary schools, 2 different middle schools, and 1 high school. But in the meantime, they were actually both zoned for different areas within our community. So obviously we had a little bit of an idea of what it was like living around here in some of the schools in our areas. Plus, being here in Dallas and working with clients, there are a lot of things that my clients have preferred and that they have asked for and that they have grown to love by moving here to Dallas as well. So number 1 is obviously the biggest question that we are asked all the time, and that is, we want a really great school district, we want some great schools, and so help put us in the right area. Well, if you do your own research a little bit and you go into places like niche.com and greatschools.org and really try and find out where a lot of these highly rated school districts are, you'll find that there are actually so many of them here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So that is definitely something that we have found as a family. And while our kids have been in school, that we have loved the schools that our kids have been involved in. Everything from the sports and the extracurricular activities, and especially the teachers and the administration. Obviously, everything isn't always perfect and sunshine and rainbows. Everything doesn't go according to plan every single day. You hear about your typical high school things. You hear about your typical, the little bit of drama that happens as your kids are in school. But overwhelmingly, we have had some phenomenal experiences. We have had some great opportunities that our kids have been able to be involved in, the activities within the school that have been sponsored by the school, and just that whole all-around community feel of actually being able to be involved. We loved when our kids were in elementary school and we could go eat lunch with them, we could go get to know their teachers, and we could help out in the classrooms. And we absolutely love being able to do that. And even having that opportunity in middle school when our kids were able to get involved with sports with the school and getting involved with that. And I will say, as our kids went off to high school, you kind of think as your kids get into high school and you're not going to really need them as much, or they're not going to need you as much, they're not going to want you hovering around as much. But at the same time, we feel that we have been more involved in their high school programs than we were even in the elementary school and middle school. And we have loved that. All of our kids were in different sports and different activities throughout the high school, but all of these programs wanted the parent involvement. And as you know, here in Texas, Friday Night Lights is a really big thing when football season is in session, and the entire community is going out to these big football games, especially when it's against the rival high school in your same town. And just being able to go out, even if you don't have kids in high school playing football, it's almost like the entire community wants to go out and support one another. We love being able to go out, and you hear that big, huge marching bands that are out there performing, and everything from the drill team to the cheer team, and all of the students getting out and getting together and cheering on their local team. We have loved being able to just enjoy that on a Friday night, even with date night. Your kids go to the football game and you have nothing better to do, so you want to go to the football game, or your kids' friends are playing, and just actually going out and supporting people in the schools. So that is definitely one of our favorite things, being able to be a part of the community, getting to support these schools, and also knowing how much the education is valued here in Texas. There are a lot of opportunities if your kids are super smart to take all of these AP tests where they can be very well prepared in going off to college. There's always college recruiting going on here in the high schools where people can find the opportunities of which schools you need to go to. And it is very heavily focused on being able to look towards your college education in these high schools. Education is a really big deal, and we have loved how important it is that not only the teachers stressing, but even though we as parents have stressed that with our own kids, knowing that the teachers and their friends and everybody else really strives to have the best educational experience. And if foreign language is a preference in your household, there are actually opportunities in a lot of the school districts where you can get involved in, say, the Spanish immersion program, where you can put your kids in elementary school and they do nothing but speak Spanish. And just being able to have that opportunity as well, and thinking outside the box and giving your kids different opportunities in order to learn and to grow with our educational system here in the Dallas area. And number 2 on our list, which we touched a little bit, and whether it's high school or out in the real world, is the sports and the activities here in Texas. Obviously, through the schools, the sports programs are a really big deal, especially in football. In fact, when we moved here, we didn't realize, you take your kids and you go out to these football games, and it's almost like going to a college football stadium. But in a lot of the high schools here in the Dallas area, granted, not all of them, but a lot of the bigger school districts, for example, our school district has 6 different football teams in the one high school. We have 3 freshman team, a sophomore team, a JV team, and a varsity team. So if you want your kids involved in sports, definitely in football, if they've never been involved or they want to get involved, it's a great opportunity that they can be able to do that in high school. But that is also the case for a lot of the other sports here in our schools as well. If you want your kids in baseball or volleyball or basketball, there's multiple teams that you can get your kids involved in. But not only that, a lot of people say that if you want your kids to play high school sports, it's almost like you need to get them involved in club sports before they get into high school. And the club sports here in Dallas, we truly believe are really over the top. There are a lot of opportunities, no matter what sport it is that you're playing, that you can find club teams and rec teams all throughout the DFW metro area. It is very, very competitive, and depending on the level that your kids are playing in, there are a lot of opportunities to be able to be involved, to be as involved as you could possibly imagine. Whether you're on traveling teams or local teams, there's definitely, no matter what sport, like I said, you want to get into, whether it's lacrosse or ultimate frisbee or swimming or water polo, lots and lots of options here in the Dallas area if you want to get involved in sports. But maybe you don't necessarily want to be involved in playing sports. Well, obviously here in the Dallas metro area, sports are a really big deal. We have every professional sport that you can think of here in the Dallas area, and not only professional sports like the Dallas Cowboys football team, the Texas Rangers baseball team, the Dallas Mavericks basketball team, the Dallas Stars hockey team. We also have minor league teams here in the Dallas area as well. So if you love to go out and get season tickets to go watch your favorite team play, you can actually go out and watch a lot of these minor league teams play. Not everybody wants to go out and pay hundreds of dollars to go out and watch the Cowboys football team play. But no matter what sport it is that you're interested in, you can always find something here in the Dallas area to go and enjoy. Because of course, sports are a really big deal, and there are a lot of opportunities to be able to enjoy that here in Dallas. Now, number 3 is going to build off a little bit on number 2, and that is the number of activities here in Dallas. Yes, you can go out and watch your favorite sports team, of course. But do you enjoy being outdoors? Do you love hiking or running, or do you love being out on the lake? We have lots of lakes and lots of ways to go and enjoy the lake life. Whether you are water skiing or wakeboarding, or you just like to go sailing, you can do that as well. But here in Dallas, we have so many different activities that you can go and enjoy. In fact, one of the things that we talk about all the time is it doesn't matter what weekend of what year you're involved in, there are so many activities happening all throughout the DFW metro area. If you want to go to a museum, if you want to go to a concert, especially during the holidays, there are so many activities that you can go and enjoy all throughout Dallas. Do you want to go and get some really great food? Do you want to go to one of the many water parks that we have here in Dallas? Do you want to go to Six Flags and ride the roller coasters? Or maybe you want to go to a rodeo or just down and, hang out and wander around the stockyards and get something to eat and see what's going on down there. We have an endless supply of activities and things to do here in Dallas. And that is definitely a great thing because so many family-friendly activities that you can do as well, and we love it. Now, number 4, which is definitely a great reason for raising your family here, is the safety. We have loved living in what we call our little small town here in the Dallas area, and that goes for a lot of the communities all throughout Dallas. In fact, I remember growing up when, we grew up in a cul-de-sac. We grew up in this little neighborhood where my parents just knew that we needed to be home by 6 o'clock as it started to get dark and to make sure that we were home in time for dinner. And it's almost just like that here living in Dallas. I remember we would sit out at the first house we lived in, there were a ton of little kids outside. And we would just sit outside and the kids would run up and down the street, in and out of each other's houses, and just play until it got dark every day. And we just never really felt that there was going to be anything bad that was going to happen to our kids. Granted, do not get me wrong, bad things happen every single day, and it doesn't matter which area you live in, but we have felt just really, really safe by living here in Dallas. Yes, when our kids were littler and we would stay outside a lot more and we would keep our eyes on them more than we do as they have started to grow up and get into high school. But even now in a lot of these areas, in fact, our son would go out with his buddies even a couple of years ago and go out on these big long bike rides. They'd get a whole little group of them together and ride the trails all around town. And granted, we're lucky that they have cell phones that we could get in touch with them, but we never really had the problem of not knowing that they weren't going to be safe. Yes, we have always taught them, don't get me wrong, always taught them, you don't talk to strangers, you stay in a group, you don't go off by yourself. But we still have that feeling of knowing that people here in the community are looking out for one another. And we have loved the neighborhoods that we have lived in. We have loved the neighborhoods where our kids' friends have lived in. And we have just really felt very safe in a lot of these suburbs here around Dallas. And we have heard that from a lot of other people as well when they have come from, say, a big city or an area where they didn't love the location they were in. When they have moved to Dallas and they've gotten to know their neighborhood, their neighbors, and the community that they were living in, they just really felt that great sense of safety and community and knowing that they could that people were looking out for them and that they would look out for other people. And number 5, which is the last one we want to get on, is this whole Southern hospitality and the culture of living down here in the South. We have lived on the East Coast. We have lived in Arizona. My husband grew up in California. But being here in Texas was just really this whole big different type of culture that we were used to. And probably the favorite thing that we were grateful for, especially raising kids here, was the fact of the manners of so many of these kids. And everywhere you went, everybody was a yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. And granted, still trying to teach our kids to say that a lot more often than they do has been a little bit more of a struggle. But a lot of these kids that have grown up here in Dallas just really have these manners of, yes, ma'am, absolutely. How can I help you? And we have loved that. In fact, not only that, it's the people that we come in contact with in the community who just have these manners and the Southern hospitality of people showing up on your doorstep with cookies or realizing that you might be outside shoveling the snow, occasionally the snow. I mean, granted, we don't get that often, but people out there seeing how they can help each other. And it's just the culture of the hospitality and this whole Southern welcoming, welcome to the neighborhood, and how can I help you? And that has definitely been one of our favorite things, especially trying to teach our kids to have that same type of attitude and welcoming kindness to others that they come in contact with. So we have absolutely loved living here in Dallas. We have loved raising our kids here. And so many people that we have helped move to Dallas have loved it as well. In fact, we are getting calls all the time why it is a big draw of this whole Southern hospitality and people wanting to move here for maybe a little bit better way of life in a different part of the country. So whether you are thinking of moving here to Dallas, or maybe you just have some questions about, what you can expect in some of these areas that you're looking towards, feel free, as always, to reach out, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and let us help answer those questions. And as always, leave your comments down below. Ask the questions that maybe other people might have that they might want to know a little bit more about as well. So as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.